Oh.
I was trying to put in the battery.
That was a unique
She
signature.
broke it. Hey, Jim, still waiting for you. Sunday, we were gonna have coffee and. Call the work session to order. Any agenda items we want to discuss before we go open? Anything on the agenda tonight that we want to talk about first?
Yes. Um, where is it?
I've got a question about this. Well,
Bill, Mr. Tracy. He would like, I know I was there, so the truck issue. Jim just would like a clarification, I guess,
Oh, Jim can ask.
or Jim,
So, yes, so,
Jim can ask.
yeah, I'll ask.
It would be nice. if Jim asked.
Yeah, just wanted to know from a budget perspective, like, I would think trucks are on a yearly budget and not something that comes up mid-budget.
Oh.
So the question is,
Fair.
does it go to the next budget year? Or is it buying it now for this budget year? Okay,
It's been a lot in Wisconsin. It's
Okay.
an emergency buy, because the truck that we were using. Had fallen apart, literally,
okay,
and, so we're short of mechanical right now, we lost another truck last year, which was understandable. Because, I didn't believe in putting $36,000, will boom, to a 20-year-old truck, so, we got through that and sold that off the scrap. For this one, came unexpectedly, it was only by chance we found out about it. And it's not usable in any way, shape, or form, and you can't repair.
okay.
So, we're gonna be short of truck. We do have one on order for it, but it won't show up until sometime next year. Before the Titanic, it used to be, the time you ordered, the time you received it, we were told 10 months. Now it's taking 3+ years.
Okay, thank you.
Is it a hybrid or is it is it diesel or what is it?
It's all line right now are diesel, but this one can be converted to hybrid.
Just wanted you to
As a
have
move
it.
operation at a later time. But right now, the vehicle is built and it's as is, sitting in Wisconsin.
And it's being paid for out of your reserve or
And out of our budget.
out of your budget? I did have a question about just a very brief question about the mayoral appointment for tonight.
Yeah.
So it's permanent. There are no there's no testing or anything like that through civil service. So soon as
Vetted, everything's good.
Okay. So the vote tonight will make a permanent position, not permanent. Awesome.
Anxiously awaiting that decision because I'm excited about that.
I'd like to say it's a step up and it's improvement. It's gonna be great.
So. The paper shuffle between the bills and trying to keep up with the resolutions here. I do actually have some questions about some of the resolutions. 7.94. Award technical assistance RFP for New York Main Street grant. So I think a number of these are coming from your department tonight. Yeah. Now that's for Barton and LaJudas, right? 7.94.
It's the Insight Architecture.
Oh, is that Insight?
Yep, that's Insight Architecture.
Okay. Could you give us a rundown on that?
Yeah.
I mean, I read it, but
Yeah, so this is we're awarding a grant that we received, the New York Main Street Technical Assistance grant and we're, awarding the contract for Insight Architecture to carry out the contract. They're gonna be doing a feasibility study on 3 downtown buildings. The building owners don't pay for the feasibility study, the grant is paying for it. It's gonna help them understand what types of improvements they're able to make to their building, both facade, commercial spaces and also residential spaces. They'll receive a plan at the end from Insight Architecture that sort of details a scope of work and budgets and different floor plans based on, you know, how they can best use their space. And then we're able to take that type of a plan and use it for downtown grant programs through New York Main Street. So there's a target area grant, there's an acre grant, so make this more competitive for future grant funding.
So it says downtown buildings on Bruce Street, Margaret Street, Clinton Street. Are there any particular buildings that we have in mind here?
Yep, so we've got the old train station
Oh, the D&H Railroad?
building, where Amtrak currently works, is that the same?
Yeah.
Yep.
It used to be the DNA, it used to actually be a restaurant in
Yeah.
that space. It was
Yeah.
really, really nice.
So I'm just looking to convert unused lot space into residential apartments, so, we've got that one, we have.
I'm sorry, are there businesses in that building right now?
Yeah,
So gonna keep the businesses and possibly some rental units or whatever. How
Yeah.
many rental units would,
that's what the feasibility study will help uncover, yeah. Part of that is sort of looking at the square footage and rental prices and, you know, helping assist the business, the building owners in sort of deciding, okay, if I rent this out, how am I also gonna be able to cash flow, you know, these rentals?
Mhm.
How am I gonna actually be able to make this into something that's profitable? Brinkerhoff, sorry, did I say?
so that one's on Bridge Street.
That's on Bridge Street, and then we've got the building that Peabody's is in. And then the third one is, I'm blanking, what was the other street?
We
that-
just went
Oh,
over these.
Clinton
I
Park.
apologize. This is the second year we've done
Clinton
these, so
is-
this is gonna be six businesses
Yeah.
we've actually.
So Margaret Street. Margaret Street would be the other street.
Oh, thank you, the West Oakland building.
West.
Yeah,
I do
Oh.
too.
Street, yeah. So
Okay.
interested in some facade improvements and also some interior improvements as well for the business there. So, yeah, and then like to your point, we did this last year. 3 different studies, same grant, same whole situation. And so now we'll have 6 studies that we can use, you know, for leveraging the grant funds. Or the business owners can just take this study and implement it themselves. That's also, you know, part of how this.
Okay, so our cost is $1,100.
Which ties into 7.95, which might be able to help with some of that.
Oh, okay, so yeah, if you could give us a rundown on that one, 795.
Sure, yeah, so this is to authorize an agreement for the administration of our revolving loan fund. I've got some representatives from the Adirondack Economic Development Corporation tonight. Here to answer any questions if needed. This is an agreement that would allow for AEDC to help us administer our revolving loans. Right now, our department has limited capacity to, you know, fully intake, process, underwrite an entire loan a loan, you know, for a community member. And so we're gonna hope to work with AEDC in using their services and their specialties to underwrite our loans. The process will still remain largely the same in that someone who's interested in getting a loan, they'll do an initial intake application. If they're deemed a fit for the program, they'll do a full application. That's where our friends at AEDC will take over and assist that person in moving through that application process, helping them collect all the necessary documents, fill out the forms. That will then go in front of AEDC's loan review committee. That's a committee that meets on a regular basis. And when the city has a loan up for review, we will have city representation at that committee. That committee will then make a recommendation to approve the loan conditions, or deny the loan. And then that will come to the council for final approval. And you'll receive a packet of information that will detail the project, all of the financials, And then also that recommendation of what to do, and then you're able to make the final call. So, we're hoping that this is gonna allow for our loan process to move more quickly so that folks can come in and, you know, if they qualify, they're able to get something through this process. Before, it was taking upwards of maybe 5 or 6 months to move something that should take much quicker to move through the process. So we have a lot of funds in our reserve right now that are just sitting there, and Richard hates having to pay interest on them every single year. And so we get these loans out into the community, the city is able to actually collect that interest. We can use it to continue to grow the fund. So we're hoping, you know, that the council will take a look at this agreement and see it as a benefit.
We're looking at a couple of different programs right out there, like facades.
Yep, yeah,
Coming out with a facade thing, we've been trying to work with a couple of folks in getting a facade program out so that when we come out, we can come out with a program.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to get this revolving fund filling.
gotta get it going. Yeah, it's
I'm excited about the resolution tonight because I think it's good for attracting businesses to the downtown too. Let me just say any place in Plattsburgh. I mean, not just limited to downtown, anywhere in Plattsburgh as a whole.
You want to walk us through the feasibility one more time?
sure.
796.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So. Sent out a memo, the day after our last council meeting, and. Without going through it, I think, did folks have a chance to review the memo, and thank you, appreciate that. So I don't wanna go, you know, go back to square one, so if there's a specific spot that you want me to start in, I'm happy to, but I think the goal tonight is to make a final decision as to whether we move forward with this grant by awarding the contract so that we can begin the study, or to decide that we would like to not award this study and not go after this grant. And then I'm gonna talk with the state in terms of returning the funds. The reason I think we need to kind of go either this way or that way is because right now we're sitting kind of in a state of limbo. We can't do any work on the grant because we don't have a consultant that is working on the work. And we're about to start applying for other grants. And we already kind of got something knocked against us for having a grant with not a lot of progress made on it the first time. And so I really don't want to go back into our CFA season with another grant that just doesn't have any movement on it, showing progress, because I think it might work against us. And so, you know, I really do think it's a good idea. You know, what our money is going towards right now are studies and surveys that we will inevitably at some point need to pay for if we ever want to do work down at Sailors Beach. We're not gonna be able to build anything down there without having a site survey or having soil sampling or knowing what's in the water before we go and have, you know, an architect design a dock, or even to go in and try to repair what's in there. Just even from a liability standpoint, we're gonna need to know some of these things. And so I understand, you know, looking at the whole scope of it, you know, do we need to have the whole feasibility piece of it? You know, maybe people have a differing opinion on whether we need a plan or not for everything, but I think at a baseline, we do need certain studies, we need certain data points and information in order to actually do any type of work down there. And so that's really what the bulk of the city's match of this grant is going to be covering. And then on top of that, you know, we have the study portion of it where they're able to provide us with, you know, recommendations of what we can do down there, cost estimates, an idea of the construction sequencing. So, you know, do we do this before this, or how does this make sense when we're actually trying to project plan? So we're getting the building blocks for implementation. So that's, you know, if you have other questions on it, I'm happy to answer. But I am really hoping that we can kind of move forward in one way or not tonight.
And it would seem as though the council was pretty excited about this, at least, or they passed it in 2024. So this was started last year, right? This process, it was approved.
Yeah, it was
so-
approved in,
February.
2023 as part of the 2023. The council reviewed the strategy, reviewed all the grants that, you know, we were gonna go for. This was part of that. got the go ahead. This was before my time in the department, but got the green light to go and apply for the grant. We got the grant, and then I think what you're referencing is in 2024, we had another resolution to accept the grant funds.
Okay.
And then at that point was when we would start the process of writing an RFP and then going out to procure a contractor to fulfill the study.
I mean, I think personally, anything that has to do with the waterfront, first of all, I think it's in line with what I'm assuming everybody was looking at back then in terms of recreation and that corridor and so I can see why there is value in it. And I also think that anytime we're gonna look at doing things with the lake, that these kinds of studies are probably really important because I would assume it involves, you know, a lot of data on the ground and the structure and like, can it hold it? And I would think that that would be something we would want if we're gonna move forward with doing
Yeah.
any work down there of any kind.
Yeah.
Because of liability or whatever, we wanna make sure it's out, right? If we were gonna do that.
Some of the environmental concerns, I mean, the testing, and that's what scares me with anything, Air Force Base, because we don't know what we don't know. Some of the testing I'm interested in. I didn't realize how much of the money in the grant was actually going to testing. It's not all for the study. I think almost half of the money is actually going to the testing. If I'm
Yeah, I think in
Remember
the
the
budget
numbers,
is
it's pretty
around
close.
34,000.
Right.
That's gonna be
for
covered
just
for-
the testing, so. I know some of the concern was the planning or the cost of the planning. That really brings that planning cost down, and we are gonna have, I'm concerned, this year's 30 years of the Air Force Base has been gone. What kind of environmental concerns are still there? And that's what I'm interested to see as well, so.
Will, is included in this feasibility study award recommendations for that broken down pier?
Yes.
Because I know that's something that the council talked about back in 2019.
Yeah.
We had decided it was prohibitively expensive and incredibly complicated
Mhm.
because that pier is in the water and we can't just remove it. There are serious considerations for that. I mean, we even talked about possible Army Corps of Engineers having to get involved
Mhm.
before we could do anything with it. So that part, I'd be also very interested to know what could be done with it because it's such a bedraggled eyesore and dangerous. And we put these things up to try and keep people out, but it doesn't
People
work.
use it
And
anyway, yeah.
yeah, so that part I would be interested in.
My dog loves diving at the end of that.
And 797. Oh, is that for Alicia? Sorry.
Yeah.
Courtney, is that everything that you have up here? Northern Borders Regional Commission 798.
Yeah, technical assistance, AEDC, and skill utilities for all of me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your questions.
Yes, please. So you refresh the council because it's been a while.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
And what this is going to, what is the Safe Routes to School grant going to accomplish? So I know this is for construction oversight services. So when we get to that point, we're ready to actually move on that. What is it actually going to do?
great. So it's a lot of different things. The grant, backing up, the grant is a New York State DEC Smart Growth Grant, and it's a 50-50 match. So DEC would pay for up to $400,000 towards project costs, and the city would match the other 50%. For this specific portion of the award of the project, it's for the design services to capture all of the existing conditions within the project area, which is a stretch of road of Oak Street that goes from Riley to Elm in front of the Oak Street School. It's approximately 0.37 miles. I've had to repeat that a few times. And the actual grant itself, so this is, the application was to fold in our complete street strategy. And under the Safe Routes to School program. And for this corridor, it would look at widening sidewalks essentially from 3 feet to 5 feet. Looking at the roadway, if we can, what kind of biking amenities we could fit in, whether it would just be sharrows or we can actually get some bike lanes in there. Updating the signage, crosswalks, at the Riley intersection, there's the turning capacity, isn't, as refined as we would like it to be to have the safest, interchange for pedestrians right there.
Are we talking
And
about-
it's,
I'm trying to visualize this. So Riley, is that,
I'm looking at it right now.
oh,
Mickey's.
so,
Mickey's.
so, okay, so you're talking about that
it's the
turn
offset, yeah.
that goes into Margaret. Is that what you're talking about? That, yeah, because, right? Oh, let me stop.
Sorry. I apologize. I've got the wrong intersection. It's
Oh.
the road directly.
I was gonna say Riley's way up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robinson or what's that?
No, it's
From the
not
school to.
it's direct, almost across, directly across from Oak,
It's the
but
one
it's
that
the,
wiggles.
it's the offset.
That's,
Stetson on the south end, but on the other end where Bailey meets, was that part of it, like from that section?
It's south of Bailey. I can send you all a snapshot. I apologize.
that's.
Incoming.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting to go
That was
into
supposed to be-
this, yeah, it is,
Bailey's right.
it is, no, sorry,
Robinson.
it is Robinson.
Robinson Terrace.
Okay, so Robinson Terrace.
I believe
To-
it's towards.
You know that wiggly spot where you're heading the one way and Robertson comes out towards?
I do.
And then you have to zigzag to
I
get to
do.
Bailey? I think that was one of the trouble spots.
Yeah.
That they were talking
Okay.
about.
But actually, I think it is Stetson. So I apologize. I
Right.
will,
But
I
nobody ever
can-
does that.
I can send you all a snapshot of the intersection I'm talking about.
I think
We
now I
had-
know which
had
one you're talking about.
Erdman Anthony look at it about a year ago when they were doing the Broad Street design project as well. So but essentially what we're going to be doing, and the engineering consultant will assist us, is to smooth that section of roadway out and to make it more walkable and safer, geared towards the students coming and going from the school when they're the peak times of traffic. So it's gonna be a full traffic study. And because this is a safe, smart growth grant, they'll also be looking at what the existing greenhouse gas production is. And then what the expected resulting reductions in greenhouse gas. So there will be surveys to that extent at the beginning and end for how many people are walking and driving through that corridor, in addition to the traffic counts. And then what the projected reduction might be with the enhanced improvements. So it's quite a bit of existing condition data collection at the forefront. And then it will go into a design proposal that will get reviewed and then brought back to the council when we go ahead of the final design determination and proposed construction.
So if I'm looking at this right, this is the capital expenditure plan for 2025?
Yeah.
And there's a section called, whatever it is, street resurfacing, is that where it is? Yeah.
It's under this, yeah.
Street resurfacing and improvements, and there's a line here for Oak Street Safe Routes to School, and it has 800,000 for this year. That is, it's approved already. that
Right.
We've approved it as
So as part of the
Part of this.
2025 capital
plan.
budget plan,
Budget.
yes. It's not, that amount of money has already been encumbered.
It's a plan, not a budget.
Grant.
Okay, thank you, because.
But it's part of the 2025 budget.
Thank you for that. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Thank you. So yes, it was included as a line item in that 2025 capital plan.
So it's a 50-50 split. Do we know, or will this tell us what kind of cost it will be to do the things that we want to do, like the whites have?
Estimates.
Yeah.
What the construction
Yeah,
estimates will do, yes.
that's what this will do too.
Yes.
Right, okay. And you said about 7 miles?
No,
Oh.
no, 0.37.
0.37. All I did was the 7. I was like 7 miles. Wow.
Yeah,
0.37.
it's gonna be a deep dive into this section of corridor. We were hoping it was gonna, that this grant would allow us to extend out to Bailey and down to Stafford, but we
No.
couldn't get it to stretch that far.
Alicia, I kind of sworn, maybe it's not this one, maybe it's a different one. A grant that was covered 100% by something. It was for school. It was for the sidewalks and everything for the school.
Oak Street did have a DEC smart growth, I think, about 10 years ago.
Oh,
to-
no,
to do
it was
some
recent. A previous counselor had mentioned it to me. And something about it being 100%, but I don't remember the exact wording, and I apologize for that, so.
The only thing I can think of is in.
100% don't come very often.
Yeah, that doesn't come around very often, yeah,
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they Stick out.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is that restriping Bradstreet? Yeah.
that was, I think that was gonna be.
Was that
So,
100%?
Not
Yeah, it was
typical.
not.
These are typically
Right.
50/50.
Right.
Okay,
I was just reaching,
cool.
So,
the 100% you just stick out. because those are our best ones if we ever get them. Yeah, me too. And can I get one more too, right?
any other questions on that?
Not on that one. Is 7.98 also something that you're supervising?
I don't think so.
The Northern Borders Regional Commission
That would be.
grant?
That's Janelle.
Ah.
That
Alright.
would be Janelle. I didn't play read it.
So, this is a grant that, is encouraging collaboration between the municipalities. The town of Plattsburgh has areas along the River Street corridor within the town that they would like to have development take place in the near future. And because of that, the anticipated development with the, some of their pump stations within the town, they'd like to combine and bring that sanitary flow down River Street. However, we'd like to have this feasibility study done. Because we have a combined sewer overflow location along River Street. And also because we know that there are flat and low lying spots that we don't think that the capacity will hydraulically be feasible. So this study is gonna allow us to look at different parts of Plattsburgh that we can redirect their proposed development flow and accept that in a way that's gonna be beneficial for us.
That's kind of a big deal.
It is, and it's
Yes.
kind of loose right now, because, you know, they're still working on their plans. And so as they further develop their plans and have more of an idea of what exactly their flows are gonna be and what exactly they'd like to put online, we'll have our feasibility study hopefully in progress and can link right up with the town and be able to work with them to help them get that in place. They were, I know, going for a grant to be able to have some funding to put a force main in. So now we'll kind of be working in tandem with them to find the best spot for them to tie into the city.
This started out as a $3 million joint Ruger Street project we were looking at originally. But we got in way too late. So the town has $1.5 million project coming down Ruger Street. I believe.
That's
they-
when they're applying for. the grant.
Right, so we were gonna do it together, but we were really late. Unfortunately, and Lake Champlain, Lake George is actually putting into this for us. They're gonna put in and administer this for us. So hopefully this is gonna be the start, of a little better relationship for them as well, so.
So you said there are some, how did you word, low spots or spots along the way?
Yeah,
And
so
where are those?
when you're relying on a system that's gravity fed,
Uh-huh.
and then you happen to have areas that are kind of flatter than normal, it kind of stops up the flow.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that things don't flow, it's just they're not at their fullest capacity. And so when we would take on additional flow from the town, those spots could get exacerbated from the flow. And we also have some locations along between Gruber and the wastewater treatment plant that have smaller pipe sizing than what's gonna be capable of handling the additional flow.
And will this help us determine?
Yeah, so
That-
this is gonna give us options and tell us where the best areas are for what they propose, where we can have them tie in and have, maybe the most minimal impact to our system.
And will this tell us how many more gallons of whatever's coming through?
Yes, yeah,
And-
so after they finalize their plans and propose them to us, we work with the DEC.
Mhm.
And then, we will use our feasibility study to shore up the numbers that they present to us to find the best.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see that because we have some old systems operating in the city of Plattsburgh and
Yes,
don't want to see any problems. So,
we gotta
okay.
encourage.
What kind of time frame do you think we'll be working under before you get this information? Do you know?
I'm not exactly sure of the town's timeline for the results of their grant application. I know that they have some sub-developments that they're looking at putting in place, some multifamily residential developments. But I'm not sure. I can circle back with them and let you know at some point, as the vision becomes more clear.
So I'm gonna pose a question that is way cart before the horse, but it's coming to mind, so I'm gonna ask anyway. We pay taxes, and so this isn't really directed at you so much, it's just kind of generally, we pay taxes on where our pipes are located in the town. Will they be paying us taxes on,
What lines are you talking?
I don't, there,
What's their skin in the game or what do you mean? Or-
Yeah, they own theirs on their side, we own ours on our side, we connect theirs, and we take their sewer. I don't know. Which, I mean, we pay a lot of taxes, they
yes,
pay a lot
we
of
pay a
taxes.
lot of taxes to the town of
Yeah,
Plattsburgh.
that I don't want
Are
to debate
you-
by any way, shape or form.
Are you referring to the, when our water mains come down off of the, is
Well, anything coming
Well,
out of
to
our
the
our
town?
water
that what you're talking about?
sources, all that mileage of
Just
pipe.
outside the city of
We
Plattsburgh.
don't pay on the pipes, we pay on the reservoirs.
We don't pay the taxes on, I don't know how I want to ask that question.
Anything buried that I know, of. I've never seen anything. I can get you a list of everything we do pay taxes on. I know Richard and I were looking at it not too long ago. I don't
Are
remember
you
how many
guys-
school districts we pay and.
See
we
if
don't
there's
pay
gonna be
anything
any-
on lines.
Reciprocation.
Reciprocation or like,
Other than NICEAG
Just a
or
question.
MLD substations. If MLD's got a substation somewhere, we do pay on that.
Interesting. It's just a question. Not a request, just a question. Okay, thank you. So I sent out an email about the 5-year plan. Amy and Jim, you both kind of engaged in some dialogue back and forth. It's around 5 o'clock and we're gonna start our council meeting at 5:30. How did the council want to proceed with how we want to go about working on the 5-year plan? Because we're gonna need access to Richard, to help us. Mayor's gonna have to guide us through it as well, and it really should be a complete joint collaboration on how to get it done. So the last time that the council approved a 5-year plan was 2024. We got that document. Thank you, Ben. We got that in our email. I could swear to God, I must have a copy of that somewhere. Couldn't locate it before the meeting.
If you don't have it, put out Google Docs.
shared space.
somewhere out there,
Somewhere.
right?
That's the last one I speaking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So last year in 2024, we did not approve one. We did not approve one as a council in 2024. No, I'm saying we didn't,
Officially do it.
no, we weren't involved in that
No.
last year.
No,
Yeah,
at
no,
all,
not at all.
not at all.
So, it was not something we collaborated on. It wasn't something that council was involved in. So, which, okay,
Whatever.
but now here we are, 2025, and it is explicitly one of our responsibilities outlined in the charter. So it would need to, in order to have an efficient, robust conversation about it, we need to figure out how we're gonna do that together as an entire group. Richard, what are your thoughts on how,
Is the format that we sent you acceptable, or do you want to go back to the one that Eric recreated that had a lot of calculation?
so,
Because this one was chosen from the main five-year forecasting, which required back when the state was increasing our aid funding each year, and we had to provide this information. I started doing this back in 2007 and continued to send it out, even when Maine stopped increasing the funds and frozen. We continued to use this, our five-year plan, kept sending it to the mayors. And I think sometime during Reed's administration, he stopped it and created his own version.
Yep.
And that's when we kind of got off track about, confirming the numbers more than actually planning the numbers. There were so many calculation problems in that format. So the first question is this what you want to see, or do you want something different?
I'm happy with, like I said, when digging around in my documents, and I think 2023 is the last time when council, that's the one I have here. So the one that was sent to us, we were not involved in that last year. So I'm okay with this format that the last mayor came up with. Mayor Reed's was I felt like it was a little unwieldy, because the categories weren't clean and clear to me. Like, it was like, oh, move over here and then move over here. And it just seemed a little too much visually to try and comprehend. So I'm okay with what we've done in the past.
Yeah, the one that was created that was kind of unwieldy, it had a lot of calculation errors because there were percentage increases being applied to things such as debt service, which they already have fixed numbers in debt service and they don't change for inflation. But he was building in increases on things that kept doubling for costs. And that's why that version didn't work. This one looks at expenditures by types of lines based on estimated costs. Debt service is a fixed number 20 years out.
Mhm.
We can actually deal with this format by fund pretty easily. It's just a matter of what our assumptions are for future periods.
Right, and inflation, increased costs, capital projects, which we already, like the capital expenditures, we have done already, as you've already said. Revenue, I guess, would be the component that some of it we can estimate, some of it I think we can guess at this point, because things are a little uncertain in our nation and across the world with tariffs and so on. And then we have employee rising costs and those things I know you can already calculate. So
Yeah.
what, to sit down and actually do this as a whole group, Richard, how much time do you think, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. How much time do you think we would need to dedicate to it with your help? And
The first thing we need to do is give you an updated version that includes the actual results for 2024. each
Okay.
fund, and what the budget is for 25 in each fund. And you can blank the page for 26, 27, 29, 30, whatever time periods going forward, and that's when we start to do our projections. So working on that, Casey Buck and I can probably have it done in a couple of hours. Send it out as a template call to do. And then it's a matter of deciding year by year what's going to happen with revenues and expenditures. So, that's where you start to get into discussion and estimations. So
okay,
Is this,
thinking maybe, 2-hour sessions, we should be able to go through it all.
So you're thinking like around 4 hours total?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of assumptions being made.
Mhm.
The other part of this stuff. These are the numbers, this is the worksheet, this is the number worksheet. The other piece of it is, this is supposed to tie into the comprehensive plan. So how does that affect what we're doing? What does that add to this? You know, we have the capital expenditure plan
Mhm.
here, which once again is just a plan, it's not a budget.
Right.
And then comprehensive plan is this, you know, bigger. More expansive. You know, it can add 20 years to your estimated changes in
Right.
the city of Plattsburgh, and what they're gonna cost is, you know, something that has to be estimated within the 5-year period. For the beginning part of it, I'm not sure how long the comprehensive plan runs for.
Should be 10 years,
10 years,
but
so
it
then,
has been 20 in the past.
yeah, so I mean, this could be 5 years of that first 10 years or 20 years of the comprehensive plan. And what goes on in that is your decision.
Right, right. That's the council's decision about
That's-
what we want to
Yeah,
do
what
in
we
terms of
want.
projects, and things like that.
That's the more subjective and narrative piece.
Right.
You could hone in on that, we could personally.
How close are we year to year based on what we approve as our approved amount when we do it, and then how it shakes out in the end? Like, do we ever look at that and decide like how useful this is in predicting and how close we are? Does that tell us part of the story with where we landed on our priorities or whatever? I mean, do we look at that? Is
Yeah,
that
it
part of
is
this?
something that we should look at. So for example, if we just keep it very simple by numbers, revenue expenditures. Because that's the reality, that's the fixed point in the universe that we need to work with. So if we look back at prior 5-year plans that where we thought this is where we were going to be in year 1, 2 through 5. And we look back and say we were not accurate. I think that's something that we need to drill down on. But I think that component, this is gonna be my advice. I think that what we should do is rely on Richard and Casey to put in fixed numbers that we know are not subject to interpretation. Where are we in terms of expenditures and rising employee costs, debts that we know we have to pay, and then revenue that we're pretty sure we can count on. I mean, we always say we're gonna get a certain amount of sales tax right now. That seems a little up in the air for 2025. So I would say as a sketch, we should start with expenditures and revenues. See what that looks like. And I think that would give us at least a skeleton to begin with. And Richard, you're saying you and Casey could probably come up with something in a couple of hours on your own.
Yeah, we can fill in the blanks on the actual numbers in the 25 budget. We can put in the debt service expectations, because we know that 20 years out. We can look at the 5-year capital expenditure plan and see how that would affect the spending for debt service, and put that out there. Then it's a matter of saying, okay, what are we obligated to right now for employee contracts? And beyond what's obligated, we have to determine what we're going to estimate for labor costs,
Mhm.
benefits costs.
So I think that's where we should start. And then we could discuss that in our first meeting in May. And then maybe from there, decide if we want to call a special meeting just for that work alone. How does that sound as a plan to the council?
Do you ever come with a projector so that we can see what you're
You
clicking
could do that
around?
through Beth's computer.
Is that,
right
is
up there.
that useful?
I don't think there's projectors anymore. I think those went out like 20 years ago.
Or whatever.
That's,
Yeah, I think,
But do you ever use
We
it?
use that a lot.
I mean, so that we could watch you click around and see how it comes together. I mean, for me, that would be useful. I don't, that's how
You can do that.
you envision the meeting going, or
I think that would be good. I think we should start with the hard and fast numbers that are not subject to interpretation. And then decide on a special meeting where we could work together as a group. And then I think that would give everybody enough time to determine what their thoughts are on projects and other things that we want to accomplish. Because we certainly cannot do all of it, and we part of the council's responsibility is to basically we're guiding the growth and development of the city. And it gives us an understanding of, well, if we're gonna commit to this set of projects or endeavors, this is what we could expect the cost to be. And again, that's a plan, that's not budget, but
Right.
this part of the year is important because then the mayor will be creating the budget. And it'll help him guide, what the budget is going to look like if we decide we want to commit to a certain number of things. Because by October, we have to have a budget to vote on.
Right.
Or a budget to look at and then just decide what. to
And
do
these
from
are
there.
estimates. I mean, nobody's gonna be held to anything on this, right? I mean, we don't know what we don't know. I mean, next year, you mean like when the water line started breaking up, Lake Country, nobody knew we were gonna do that. So you can't do a 5-year plan on this. So we do have the infrastructure in the city of Plattsburgh. We can estimate these things. It's great for a guide, I mean, but it's not gonna be a Bible, right?
Well, if we look at it year to year, we'll be able to see
Exactly.
like how close we were
Right.
and where were we off and why. Maybe just a quick review of that year to year would be helpful.
And
But we should
what-
have goals.
Yeah.
We should have goals,
yeah, and what's also,
separating water, drainage and sewer
Right, well,
across the
that-
entire
Well, a lot
city.
A lot of that comes across on grants too, because I mean, we can't afford to go down and I'd love to. I mean, Janelle, we could go do some damage, couldn't we? I mean, you want water, stormwater mitigated, we
Right.
can do it, but we just can't.
Right, but
We
if
can
we
only
get
do
it
what we can
into a
afford to,
5-year
and that's
plan,
where
10-year
this-
plan.
That's where this comes in. This sets us some boundaries where we know employee cost is gonna be this, we know this cost is gonna be that. So I mean, we're gonna have so much we can apply back towards that. And hopefully we get federal money and we get other monies that come in too. So we're paying the 10s and the 20%, not the 100%, right?
and it's also important, and I said this by email with the council, to make sure that we understand if we're running ourselves into any kind of structural deficits, which has happened in the past. So we want to make sure that we plan appropriately so that we don't have that happen where we're spending more than we're taking in. And that is definitely not some position we want to be in, so. So do we agree that this is going to be our path forward? Okay,
I think if nothing else, it's a great workshop, work together and look at this budget and go through it. Each of us have it. I mean, it's another workshop, the way I look at it.
Mhm.
It's not a
Absolutely.
bad thing.
Yeah.
So. And Richard loves playing with numbers.
PowerPoint.
And he's good at it. Yeah, no, because that Munis program, I'm still getting used to, so it's just,
Yeah, there's a few things we got as a.
Yeah.
Pull numbers out, so if you break and do your analysis like this year was last year, but what we need to do first is. Leave this one alone. Copy it into another section, update it for 24, 25. Make sure we've got, the prior year result correctly, take out the forecasts that were there, maybe leave the assumptions. And then compare the two on the screen if you'd like to.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can see how 24 came out versus what was estimated. What the forecast for 25 was versus what the plan is for this year, which is already budgeted for 25 and then work from there.
I agree.
That's great.
I think that would be helpful. Thank you. So since we are talking money,
We don't talk.
We're always talking.
we're always talking.
So-
Sales tax revenue for first quarter, and do we have any idea how we're
we just got.
doing?
That's ahead.
And are we on target within our own budget for 2025? So far, so good, even with the decreased traffic.
Yeah.
Our-
We're ahead of last year. And last year was a strong year. Say that. So far, it was.
We're using the kind of projections, of course, and we're still above that, but that's not to say that withstands the sun. I mean, we're gonna tighten down and batten and hatches and look at everything we spend right now. I mean, we have to.
thinking.
In fairness, I mean, just like I would in my own house. I'm not
We
gonna
have
Go out and spend extra money right now because I don't know where to go.
So, Courtney, I don't know if this is a question you can answer. I don't expect you to answer it on the spot, but I'm saying in general, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this. Do you have any idea of what the estimated revenue is at the beach based on Canadian traffic from one summer season to another is. I don't know if there's any way for you to, parse that out in terms of overall revenue from parking and, visiting.
could see how looking at information we do get, which is obviously how much we get from parking meters, how much. I think that Tori and Denise were able to pull out Canadian plates that registered for
Oh, okay.
permits. Yeah, the daily ones, I don't know if we can or not, but you do have to put your license plate number in there, so. I think using that, we'd be able to potentially create an idea of, say last summer, which would be maybe the first good benchmarking summer. I feel like that one really was the one when we finally saw Canadian back after COVID. We could see what percentage so that we can then forecast how much less potential each parking revenue.
We did have a meeting with a local business guy today, and he said he has traditionally, how many? I think it's over about 100 prepaid people. This year he's at 3.
Yeah.
So, listen,
people call
I
it
am
cute.
not, we just spoke to him this morning and, he owns campsites in the area and he just doesn't, they're not coming down. He got he got beat up pretty bad on his, messages online by our neighbors from the north and, he actually pulled the ads down. Not to be doom and gloom, but that is some, we did have that conversation today.
People are pulling out as well.
Yeah.
People are.
Well, I think,
Canceling their
We
reservations.
want to be really responsible with every dollar we spend here.
Yeah.
Not that we shouldn't always be, but especially now.
I think that, I have 2 thoughts on that. I think it is maybe a good time for us to do more things with the city beach to encourage more people to come and want to be there. A lot of people have, pools and they might not go swimming in the lake because, they can just go to a friend's house or whatever. I don't think we have as many beach goers as we did, when my oldest son was a kid.
We can't rely on just swimming. We have to
Yeah.
get other things going. And I think Nick's never here. The fact that the snack bar is going to be expanding. And he's going to be offering different things. That's a definite plus.
Better bathroom.
We
Better
have
bathroom,
we actually
better
have bathroom
showers.
that's,
We
Yeah.
can actually like report out, we've got our,
Yeah.
extended Cabana Beach Bar.
Yeah, that's what it, Cabana.
Bigger like service area, he's able to expand kind of the area outside of his bar where he can serve and he can, pull up and have a drink. He's gonna offer more products through that. And then on the other end, we've got the new bathroom. So once those things are ready to launch, we're definitely gonna start communicating out widely. Here's, why you should come to the beach. We've got better amenities. We're building up, what we offer.
Emma's got some stuff planned for out there
we have a
as well,
few
right?
events out
So.
there too. so.
And I'll bring this up too, if we're gonna be talking about a 5-year plan and, our plans for development into the future. I would like to have a serious conversation about what are we doing with that property now that the Civic Center is no longer there. We have a parking lot there, we have a fence,
I think it's the most beautiful freshwater beach in the world.
I love our
Seriously,
beach.
I
It's
mean, it is
beautiful, but that parking lot is an eyesore and we don't have a building on that property anymore. We clearly have water, sewer and electric coming into the property. I fully appreciate,
Playground.
hold on, Wendell. I fully appreciate that we have restrictions on the property because we can't just like put it out to bid and come develop because we can't do that. But I would like to see us this year come up with a future plan for that property and make it something that's actually going to happen.
We have the feasibility study, which is beautiful, but we just can't afford it. I mean, that it's really comprehensive and I mean, it's not that old. I mean, some of the ideas are amazing. The economics, I mean, we can't afford it, we can't.
Well, can we spell those out then?
What, I mean, I'm sure we can pull that feasibility study back out and get it reissued to everybody and, The study is amazing.
We'll just put numbers on the different ideas.
Oh my gosh, so you should see some of the ideas are amazing. And just
Yeah.
having a
But they're
playground
just
there,
ideas until
just
we-
having a playground there, I think would be a huge draw for folks. Just to have something so your kids can do in there, I think it's.
Call out, it was a 3-phase plan with each phase with a cost estimate, but, you
Right.
know, we're talking.
High cost
Phase
estimate.
2 being tens of millions, phase 3 being tens of millions, you know, so, and I think within that, there are smaller breakdowns. I don't think that beach study got to the level of like, here's how much this playground would cost, or here's how much this, you know, amphitheater would cost, but I think, yeah, what I'm hearing is just needing to put some thinking into what we've created, and then now, you know, what's the future, and what are the steps or the obstacles, or, you know, the things we need to be thinking about? Can we be the ones building on that property? Is this something that a private entity does? Well, what kind of answers need to be asked and then answered if we have a private entity interested in like something related to that property?
Or what is, you know, legitimately, what is actually feasible on that property? Because we can have, you know, all kinds of big ideas and plans and so forth, but I think a practical look at the property as it is, what the recommendations have been, and I mean, that beach has been studied, so many, there are at least 2 that I know of.
We could have built the pier with all the studies we've been.
Absolutely, and I'm sick of
Unfortunately.
feeding the rich, so, I'd like,
Do we want more studies, or we don't? want
No.
more?
Don't want more
We've done enough.
No more.
Can't
Right.
just-
But let's get these answers.
Yeah, let's get the
Let's get these
feasibility
questions
study
answered.
back out. Do you have that online?
The beach study?
Yeah,
Well, let's get it reissued out so we can take a look at it and we can, that's a good starting spot. We've already paid for this.
yeah.
Let's get the ball.
And
Yeah,
I remember sitting here when and I can't remember who did the study and did the presentation to the council, and it was wonderful. I mean, Kirk Gervich's students had done some work on the environment out there, and they had some things to say, but it came with an incredibly high price tag that no one is gonna want to pay, and we shouldn't ask the taxpayers to pay for. So I think, because I don't know about everybody else, but I get that question a lot from people in the city. What's the plan for the beach now that the Civic
Yeah,
Center isn't there?
I've heard many.
So I don't want to keep,
Indoor
Comments, right?
recreation is another huge question. You know, we can't be the solution, but we can sure be part of it, right? You know, because I mean, that's huge, having an indoor field in the area somewhere.
I know, but on that property, you can't sell the property. It's a park.
No, but I mean, if we had county partners and town partners, we have a lot of towns in the county, and the city has been stuck paying the bill on a lot of these things. We've funded a lot of projects, I mean, 4th of July celebration. We don't get any help from it, but everybody complains about what the city does, right? Again, if they want to complain, that's fine. Donate some money from your township to us and we'll put more fireworks up in the air. Seriously. I think we do a darn good job with what we have. So, I mean, just getting, you know, sharing this with the rest of the county, because it's for the whole county too. These things, and not the beach so much, but like the indoor rec facilities. It's so important to have something for our next generation to have too, right? So,
We need an indoor venue.
yeah, we do.
Period.
And again, we
There
can't,
isn't
it's
one.
not ours, we can't be the solution, but can we be a part of it? Is that fair? We'll get that feasibility study out and let's look at it and,
There's 2 at least that I know of. One since I've been on council, and another one that was done quite a few years ago.
I think there's a.
Yes,
there's a room here with a lot of.
Yeah.
And I haven't found the room yet.
The room's my own.
Well, that's where I'm going tomorrow.
yeah, so I would like to revisit that. Let's have a frank, honest discussion about what we can or can't do.
And
And
it folds into the 5-year plan.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Context and, you know, what we can project to put towards. And I think answering those questions of like, it's parkland, so what are our options?
we're restricted, yeah.
And where's the wiggle room within that, or, you know, what are other steps around that we, you know, want to answer? Happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, especially talking about the most beautiful beach, freshwater beach in America. I'm good talking about it anyway.
It's the longest one. biggest one.
Longest, best.
Best.
Was this called the best? It is beautiful out
Mm-hmm.
there and it's so underutilized. And I agree, we need to have discussions about
Mm-hmm.
it. And these feasibility studies are already done, so let's look at them. See if there's something we can, you know, as a group come together and maybe bring to fruition.
Beth, is it time?
Yeah,
It's
we're
5:30.
Everybody
5:35.
good?
We're good.
So we'll call work session. We'll take a brief break and we'll be back when you're ready.
It's already after 5:30.
You want to go right in?
Let's rock and roll.
You guys are ready?
Okay.
Okay.
No bathroom break.
No bathroom break, so. Richard's stuck now. We're going right into the meeting.
He's standing. He's
Yeah, okay.
so patriotic.
We'll call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation. Indivisible, justice for all.
That Richard was getting ready to leave.
Ready.
That was good, okay.
Mayor Hughes,
Here,
Counselor Bond,
Here,
Counselor Evans,
Here,
Counselor Gibb,
Here.
Counselor Talon.
Here.
Counselor Manette,
Here.
Counselor Colleen.
Here.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the Common Council held on April 3rd, 2025 are approved and placed on file among the public records of the city clerk's office.
moved by Counselor Culling, seconded by Counselor Gibbs. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
yes.
Counselor Evans.
yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette,
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Now I'll take anybody that's interested in making public comment on any topic for the city of Plattsburgh. Nobody for comment? Going once, twice. Okay.
We had correspondence of recommendations from the special committees of variance law. And council approved the payrolls of the various departments of the city of Plattsburgh for the week ending April 16th, 2025, in the amount of $587,275.19. Council approved the bills audited by the common council for the weeks ending April 11th, 2025, in the amount of $431,247.32. And April 18th, 2025, in the amount of $2,161,731.73.
Any liaison reports? The library? Nothing tonight? The finance mark?
Hi, okay, so this Saturday is going to be the City of Plattsburgh's Green Up event and Earth Day Festival. We are possibly really facing some rain, so we're gonna wait and see what the forecast is, and that will determine whether we are out in Trinity Park or inside City Hall. So hopefully it won't be so bad that we can be out in Trinity Park, as we have always been out in Trinity Park. But we can make adjustments. So we are going to have a story time with Mr. Ben Carmen there. We're very excited about that. If it's raining, we will certainly put him inside. That's easy to do. We're gonna have some live music going on and some tabling organizations to find out how you could be a more climate smart community. And we're just looking forward to the event. So please attend and please do your part and join the Green Up too, because there is free ice cream in it for you. Thank you.
I'm gonna do one on the fire department because the 2 days in a row, we've had two big fires in the city of Plattsburgh, and I want to give them, I just want to say thank you, chief, and all the men and women in the fire department, I was there today on site. I was there yesterday too. I didn't go up yesterday, but incredible. I mean, it's just amazing watching the men and women in our professional fire department do what they do. So thank you.
And they've been very successful at getting all the kiddies out.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had no injuries. Shouldn't say that, but it's been 2 days, no residents and none of our staff or any firefighters.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Isn't there, and you might know this because I know how much of an animal lover you are. Isn't there a way to purchase a sticker to put on your windows in your home that says I have certain number of animals or
I've never seen anything.
I have seen that. I've seen
I've seen the
people put
kid
those
one,
on
like,
there.
Our child in this room, but
Almost like that, where I say, you know, I've got 5 dogs in here, or I've got 10 cats or whatever. So that if you show up on site and, there's a fire, you know that there might be some animals.
They have them for people that are disabled. you know, that have-
Yeah, they have that, and then they have.
So I
you know,
Didn't
like
know if that
child
is
in
something
syndrome.
that we could make people aware of. So that
Well,
your folks
yeah.
would know.
You used to have a little fire helmet you used to put on, and that's where you had. That's where.
Oh,
fire-
yes.
Well, to, and I've never seen that in years. No. Yeah.
It's something the health
Oh.
department might be aware of.
Something too. We could make a fortune.
Does it exist? Okay,
Yeah, that might be something.
yeah.
So it's more information we have to show up. Obviously, we were talking today, and we had sometimes when they're in a stressful situation, we're trying to hide. So they go in their beds, in the closets, places where you can't find them. And sometimes when you do find them, it's too late, but we do have resuscitators on the vehicles before that. So we have resuscitators.
So I'd like to see something like that go out to residents and let them know. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I hate to hear about it
Yeah.
when, you know,
Big time.
people find out that they lost their
Did
pets.
I hear Julie just volunteered to look into that?
I think so.
I said I would.
Oh,
I
okay.
said I'll create it and
That's all
earn
I heard.
millions.
How's that? Perfect. No, that, but it didn't.
No, I will. I'll
Did
look
want
for
to
it
make
and
sure
hand
I
stick it.
gave you, I mean, it's been, 2 days in a row, and hopefully. I know one of the guys said today it was 3, so let's hope that's, let's hope in that was actually 2. Yeah.
We have displaced people now. I mean, and we
Both
have a
families
housing
today.
shortage.
Both.
And now we have displaced people
Yeah.
from these burned out houses,
Yeah.
and so.
6 people today, I believe, Richie.
Right, we're at Lake Street.
Yeah. Yesterday.
Miller. Last week. Right across is the helping.
Item 7.92, mayoral appointment, environmental manager.
Moved by Counselor Collins, second Counselor Gibbs. Can I get a roll call, please?
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item
Congratulations.
Congratulations. More than well deserved.
Agreed.
Item 7.93, authorizing MLB to award vehicle quotes.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Manette. Roll call.
Any discussion?
Oh, discussion. Sorry. We did discuss it, so I was jumping again. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.94, award technical assistance RFP for New York Main Street grant.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Collins. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.95, authorize mayor to sign agreement with AEDC.
Moved by Counselor Collins, seconded by Counselor Gibbs. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.96, award Sailor Beach feasibility study.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Talon. Any discussion?
Well, I want to, I
Oops,
just want to
sorry.
say something very
I'm sorry.
quickly. Thank you, Courtney, for giving us some really thorough discussion and explanation on that during our work session. When this is completed, what kind of time frame are we looking at? Do you know? Like how long before?
By the end of the year.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette,
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.97, award professional design and construction oversight services for the 2022 New York State DEC CSC Safe Routes to School grant project.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, second Counselor Talon. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette,
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.98, authorize application for Northern Borders Regional Commission NBRC grant, Plattsburgh Development feasibility study.
Council Gibbs, seconded, Council Town. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.99, renewal of the city's marine insurance coverage of rec complex fund.
Moved by Council Gibbs, seconded by Council Cullen. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Carried.
Any new business to come before the council?
I just had a follow-up question. About a month ago, I brought up the opportunity for the rebates on electric mowers and snow blowers and all those. And we had talked about doing a mailer, like doing an insert with electric bills. Is that something that we're still considering doing or going to do?
We can definitely look at it. I mean.
I think it would be a
That's a
really,
great idea.
Yeah.
I just would really love to see a
We-
push go
we
out
something
to help
we
people
always
be
put
aware of
something
it.
On the website too, because I think Bill's that on the under the electric rebates, right?
Yes, that program expires first of September.
So we could get it done now, though. I mean, if we
Yeah.
push it on the webpage now. At least get it on the webpage for
It's the only
now.
one in
and get
New
it
York
out.
State.
And we, I think Emma had posted it and we posted it on the
There we go.
kind of task force page. But we weren't, we weren't overseeing the flyer.
Right.
portion of it.
Yeah.
Is that something that I would like to do it as a flyer, as an insert to electric bills?
How-
Cost to that.
There is a cost to it. yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm aware.
Do we know how much it costs to run a
Well, we're
flyer?
gonna have to make 9,000 some copies, right, Richard?
Well, we doing one right now, or did we start that one April first?
Yeah, first, no, May first. we go.
May first we're doing. So you get usually about 8,000 copies.
8,000
of what We
copies.
want to insert. What's that usually cost you?
It's $400 or $500.
Yeah. And then we insert them in the bills, you know, with each bill run each week. You know, we send them out throughout the month. There's another flyer that, has been requested to be sent out for June. For the, charter. Recommendations. changes. So that means July 1st probably.
I think July 1st is gonna be too late.
Yeah, I mean, people
So
are.
the charter guys say go in July and we'll do come on in June.
I will. No kidding.
Yeah,
Put out
but
to say-
the forms double sided already.
Right. You
Can't
should-
do both?
If you put out two things, you usually don't get people reading them all.
Right.
It's like one piece of
Yeah.
paper as simple as possible, with as few words as possible, that gets people's attention, believe it or not.
I think the charter,
Anything like 2 pages or more, forget about it. People like,
I think the charter commission had an August deadline for something they were trying to do.
So
Only
the,
about 50% look at it.
so I'm assuming that, Amy, you just brought this up. The Charter Commission is on a specific deadline.
Yes.
Because it's gotta go before
Before
the
August.
Board of Election, in order for them to move it forward as a ballot initiative. But if we wait until July to do the insert, I think it'll be too late,
That'll be
but
too
if
late.
that's what we do, then
This month is already done.
But there's stuff on that.
yeah, but you're gonna mow your lawn more than you're gonna blow snow.
His is May 1st, so April, I don't know, is it even possible to do that then?
get them by tomorrow, we can start inserting them Monday or.
Where do you get them printed then?
I think we've got the last one, I think, saver. But it took a week to get them.
Is the flyer already made up?
The flyer's already on the webpage. I believe.
Would you need 8,000 copies?
No, no, what I'm just asking, who's created this flyer?
Yeah, you need.
Oh,
Yeah, this one we're doing for MLB, we do every year in May, and it says, here's what we did 2 years ago for electric usage.
Yeah, what the air quality were, it's a requirement of the Public Service Commission, so I can't move it, I have to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
if we get charter commission going out and doing, I mean, we could set down 2 inserts, it makes it a little difficult to insert the bills and get them out, a lot of jamming and stuff because they're too big.
But on top of it, read this one.
So then we would have to do,
But then you're gonna have the decision, let's see, lawn equipment, electric, or charter, what do they do? Throw them both away.
yeah,
It-
so July then, are we saying, would
You can almost put it on the website, time being on the city website.
sounds like it's already there, right? Isn't that what Emma did?
Well,
Oh,
My city of Plattsburgh.
yeah, that would be good if it was there. And then what about, oh no, it's too soon. I was gonna say copies at your Earth Day Fest, but
Yeah.
no, that's,
It's printable, somehow, I mean.
okay.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Any other business?
Yeah, I should have said this earlier at the beginning, but got a chance to go see Kashmir, who played Led Zeppelin over at the Strand, and I want to say it was a great time. So
Grand puts on some great shows.
Strand did some great shows, and I won't mention where we had libations, but that was great too. So had a good time, had a good time. Yep.
Oh,
Was.
Yes. Okay.
belated happy birthday.
So any other business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Yes, Councilor Manette. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Net,
Yes.
Counselor Pauline.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 5:50.